In today's equity index futures markets, let's take a look at the S&P 500 futures as they're maintaining a fairly range-bound type of scenario once again today for a third consecutive session. S&P 500 futures have had a very tight closing range. We're up a couple of points here as we move towards the close today, right around the 48.18 level, as the markets have gyrated between positive and negative territory, but really not too far outside of yesterday's price action. When you look at the futures market and some of the driving factors today, now initially it appears that one of the primary drivers was the PPI data coming in below expectations, countering the CPI data yesterday, which came in above expectations, and we did see some positive price action in the futures markets. But I think that's being negated to some degree today by bank earnings as well as geopolitical tensions as we head into the weekend. Bank earnings were mixed today. We did see JP Morgan up substantially early, but then giving up ground. Bank of America under pressure throughout most of the day, and Citibank under some pressure. So I think that's countering some of the positive price action and positive sentiment that we did get from the PPI data. And also there's tensions increasing in the Red Sea and as continued challenges to shipping and other things in that region. And that's, I think, another factor contributing to why we're seeing some selling pressure in certain parts of the market, and we're seeing some higher price action in the crude space. Now, looking at the general trends, S&P 500 futures maintaining some sideways price action today. Now, today would be considered an inside day, meaning today's high and low are inside of yesterday's high and low. And we're really, even with the general trends here sideways the last several days, we're still not too far off from those closing highs that we did see at the end of December at the 48.33.5 levels. So even with the sideways price action this last several days and the market giving up some ground last week, we continue to maintain the upper range for the last couple of years when you look at the S&P 500 futures. And today, across the board, pretty much lower price action in all the futures markets, although the S&P and the NASDAQ are only down slightly. But S&P 500 futures range bound for a third session, closing or looking to close slightly higher on the session, and ultimately, again, just shy of those highs from the 2023.